Hello, I'm Colin Sullivan.
And I'm Pepper Raper.
And this is Almost Live, a weekly show designed to give you the who's who and what's what of Telluride and Mountain Village. On this week's show, we're going to have the Warren Commission with Catherine Warren for news on our local music and entertainment scene. We're going to have conversations with Brian Eister and Steve Szymanski from the Telluride Bluegrass Fest, who are going to sit down and give us some insider tips on this year's festival. And then we're going to meet with Telluride Deputy Fire Chief John Cheresky, who's been fighting some major wildfires in our region.
We'll take a look at a profile piece for Babies of the Bush, a store here in Mountain Village that dedicates its profits to protecting wildlife in Southern Africa. Patrick Legans, the wine geek food freak, is going to show us how to make a zucchini dish that's perfect for all kinds of summer meals.
We'll join Diva for Undercover at Between the Covers, and then we'll have a new episode of Device Advice from the Wilkinson Public Library.
And last but not least, you'll have a chance to practice your downward-facing dog with our favorite yogi, Barbara Glansing. Let's join Colin and Catherine Warren for the Warren Commission.
Thanks a lot, Pepper. And we're here with our favorite music nerd, Catherine Warren.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going really well. We have a giant festival on this week.
Yes.
And I would ask you to talk about that festival, except for Steve and Brian are going to be here from the Bluegrass Festival.
Yeah, they're taking care of most of
They're
it.
going to take care of that. There's programs. There's all this stuff online. So you are going to take care of the other half.
Yes. Okay. Before I get to that, I just have to say, this is Christmas for me. This is my
Christmas.
Favorite week of the entire summer in Telluride. Some of the best musicians are coming in from all over the world, as Steve and Brian might tell you about later.
That's right.
But there's, even if you don't have a pass, there's plenty of music to catch, to enjoy, to dance to this weekend.
Colorado born and bred, ladies and gentlemen. So that's right, is that right?
Yep, my first Bluegrass, I was 11 years old. I came into the the Box Canyon and told my mom I wanted to live here someday. She said there was no way that would ever happen, and I proved her wrong.
Catherine Warren, as many appearances at Bluegrass as Sam Bush. But you're actually gonna tell us a little bit about things if you don't have a ticket.
Yes.
It's sold out.
Yep.
Things to do in case.
Yep. So on Friday at 1 o'clock, the Telluride Music Store, they're right on Main Street between the thrift store and the courthouse. They're hosting Dave Bruza, the guitarist from Green Sky Bluegrass, for a guitar workshop with Santa Cruz Guitars. So it's probably going to be packed, but you can stop by, listen to Dave, pick on the guitar, ask questions about the guitars, the Santa Cruz guitars, and just hang out with the guys at Telluride Music. So that's a lot of fun, and that's free, sort of first come, first serve. And then on Friday from 5 to 7, the Music on the Green continues in Reflection Plaza next to the Hotel Madeline. This week's edition features Sarah Slayton from Edison, an indie folk band out of Denver, but one half of Edison will be performing at Reflection Plaza. Friday night at the Liberty Bar, they have Liver Down the River. I always get caught up on that name. They're like a funk, bluegrass, jammy, perfect band to complement a day of music in the park. There are no... it's not a bluegrass, nightgrass show. You just first come, first serve. And that's about 10 o'clock. And then on Saturday and Sunday, the Liberty is hosting the Magic Beans, a really fun jam grass band out of Boulder, Netherland area. They were here last March, the last Warren Commission that I missed when the other Warren filled in for me. They're coming back. They're a lot of fun, and they will pack the Liberty. So that's those three shows are really fun shows to catch if you missed out on the nightgrass stuff through Planet Bluegrass. They had the lottery in April. All their shows are sold out, and but head to the Liberty, and otherwise just go to the other bars in town. They'll have a singer-songwriter. I may not know about them because they haven't emailed my secret way of getting all these calendar dates, but there's just music everywhere you turn this weekend. And then on Monday at the Village Table, a fabulous restaurant in Mountain Village, Kurt Drogsvold will be playing Spanish guitar from 6 to 9. And then next Wednesday, the 27th, I believe, it's coming Wednesday, we have Kabaka Pyramid at kicking off the Sunset Concert Series.
Kabaka Pyramid.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're a reggae band. It's free music, starts at 6. The open common consumption thing starts, so you can buy drinks from the neighboring restaurants and bars and enjoy free music right outside the Telluride TV studio in Mountain Village.
Even if you don't like music, but you like open drinking, you could do that.
Yeah, and then just talk to your friends.
Yeah, there you go.
Music.
What's the...
Don't do that, folks.
Don't do that. And then also, like, there's they do a bunch of free events, things like that at Bluegrass as well, right?
Yes.
So like you can actually go to Elks Park and see
Elks
music.
Park, just swing by the park. It's in the center of town. Really hard to miss if you're walking down Main Street. And I believe the Bluegrass boys are going to tell you a little bit more about what's to be expected. But it is at the Elks Park workshops that some magic really happens during the festival. The band I'm With Her, who's playing at the festival and playing at the Opera House for Nightgrass this year, that's Sarah Watkins, Sarah DeRose, and Ifo Donovan. They formed for a workshop at Elks Park, and now 3 or 4 years later, they now have an amazing band called I'm With Her. Came out before Hillary Clinton's campaign. So that's just one example of the magic that happens, and maybe in a few years we can say, oh yeah, those guys started at the 2018 workshop. So just swing by Elks Park or get a program or check it out online.
Great. Catherine, thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you, yeah.
If you want to contact Catherine Warren, don't. She's going to be in the festival. She's going to be doing music for the next 4 days. Let's head over now to a brand new store, Babies of the Bush, up in Mountain Village.
My name is Yvonne Reed. I am the owner of Babies of the Bush, wildlife art gallery and gift shop and conservation center in Mountain Village, Colorado. The center was started in order to support the South African Peace Park's concept of joining existing conservation areas that straddle national borders across Africa. This by means of elephant migratory corridors, thus ensuring biodiversity, supporting socio-economic development, keeping strong, healthy genetic gene pools by allowing animals to crossbreed, and a financial stable tourist industry for all countries in Africa. The upliftment of Africa guarantees the safety of our wildlife. The protection of Africa's wildlife now means Africa's lifeline for the future. Please join me in raising funds for the protection of the African rhino and elephant under the auspices of Peace Park, South Africa. Visit Babies of the Bush and see how you can help.
All right, that was a cool new store up there in Mountain Village. Go check that out, Babies of the Bush. I am here with two very exciting folks, Brian Eister and Steve Szymanski, from the Telluride Bluegrass Fest, 45th this year.
It is, yes. The legacy continues.
The legacy continues.
Into the third generation now.
We were just talking off air, and you were a young man when you started this, and now you're just a slightly older man.
Yes, Craig Ferguson, who was involved with Fred Shellman even before Planet Bluegrass was founded. But 1989 was the first festival, 29 years old, and I showed up not knowing a whole bunch about festivals.
Amazing.
But we hired some professionals, learned from some of the best, and here we are, many years later, 30 festivals later.
Should I ask you what's changed over the years the most, or is it not? I mean, is it not even worth it at this point? I've seen the pictures of the old festival.
Right. Well, the infrastructure. I mean, the stage, this new stage, third stage now. Since we started producing the festival. But what's really changed is the. I think really just the expertise of having so many people come back every year and be so good at what they do. That has really made this festival a real special reunion.
You do really have the Muhammad Ali of lineups, don't you? It's like every day you've got a knockout in there, And Chris Thiele obviously is coming in. Anybody who's seen him perform, he's performing 3 out of the 4 days this year.
It's really kind of a Chris Thiele festival in a lot of ways. He's kind of almost every day. He's a big part of the show, and
yeah, I mean, he opens the festival, on Thursday morning, as he has for a number of years now, and it just sets an amazing tone for the festival, both to start with one of the great virtuosos in acoustic music, to start the entire festival at 11 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, and to know that the whole place is full at that point. People aren't just waiting to come for headliners.
Oh, yeah.
That there's 10,000 people in the park for Chris Thiele's opening set of the festival.
Yeah.
It's really unique.
If you drive into Telluride right now, you'll know nobody's waiting for anything. There are just people packed all over the place, which is really nice. It's like a really nice, vibrant start to summer. Now, can you guys talk a little bit about what you do specifically for the festival?
Sure. I mean, so all of us are really involved in booking the music. There's a bunch of us that do that. There's 10 or 12 of us that work on this year-round, and then hundreds that obviously work on the festival in Telluride here once the event gets underway. But I work on publicity and marketing and communications and some of the technology and try to play some music when I can with Steve.
Yeah, that's always our goal is to do the sound check on Wednesday if we can and get up there, listen to the stage and have our 5 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
And keep our foot in both sides of the,
You guys are
kind of
traveling
festival.
with musical instruments. You walked into our studio today and you have instruments on
Brian
just in case.
does.
Yeah.
I like to go into the campground and find a luthier who's built a brand new instrument and say, hey, can I play that? But there's actually plenty of them.
I'm sure there are.
But I'm kind of focused on a lot of things. What's great about small companies, we all wear a lot of hats, and so there's just a lot of cross training and we can all kind of jump around. But a lot of the festival experience is really there's so many other things going on, and from contest to the workshop program to our whole sponsor area, which has a whole sustainability education, kind of slant to it as well. And we do schools, throughout the season as well. So there's just a lot going on, and that's why I love festivals, because you really get people that come and they're going to be with you for, could be a week, might be longer, But there's a community that forms, and so every year people come back, and then new people come into the fold, and we're just stewards of this spectacular community that's really, really special. From artists right down to the first-time festivarian.
You like the new stage?
Yeah, very much.
It's
We're going
a
to like
big
it, more when it's completed, which I think this next year they're going to do the final bathrooms on the stage, finish the dressing rooms out. The whole backstage is going to have a nice catering area and bathrooms. So
the sound is pretty amazing.
The sound is amazing, and it lets us do things that we couldn't do before. I mean, like the fact that we're going to do a Peter Rowan set followed by a 2-hour live radio broadcast going out to 2.5 million people.
Is that
the
just
technical demands of that? I don't think could have happened on the old stage.
I see what
So
you're saying.
we feel really fortunate the town invested in the state-of-the-art stage like that.
Yeah, we feel fortunate as well as the town, because I think that we love our festivals and things like that, and we knew that you guys needed something a little bit different.
Yeah.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty this year.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about some of the bands you're excited about. You could certainly say things that we've seen before, like I'm excited about Tedeschi Trucks. I'm excited about Green Sky, things like that. Cristile, obviously, but there's always these little gems that are sort of popping up.
Yeah, I think surprising ourselves is kind of been the thing we've done a lot in the last years with a lot of these newer international bands. And Brian makes a point of really studying music. In fact, this year, he got into a Finnish kick where he was out there looking at all this Finnish music, and came up with this band Frigg, which is going to be just tremendous. And no one's ever going to heard of them before, but they're going to knock everybody's socks off. And
they're flying over from Helsinki.
Yeah,
and their summer was basically all done. And I think within the band they said, well, we really don't want any more gigs unless for some reason Telluride called. And we reached out to them, and they're like, yes! And they confirmed like a day later. It was amazing.
Well, you guys are sort of
come
the
from
premier
Helsinki
festival, right?
Yeah, for string bands, it's the place to be. And so they're going to be fascinating. There's a band from Australia playing Friday morning, The Maze, who are just wonderful. It's two sisters who grew up kind of in the harmony folk singing world in Australia and write beautiful songs. It can be just a stunning way to start a Friday. It's them followed by Frigg from Finland. St. Paul and the Broken Bones are going to be amazing on Saturday night. It's
going to be a soul session like you haven't heard on that stage for
horn section, from Alabama. Just fantastic.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you have somebody that just scouts Alabama music? I feel like that's probably a good thing to continue to scout.
Well, what's great about having a team of it's really 4 or 5 of us that really just go out. And I've been to Scotland twice in the last year. Kind of got into the whole Celtic world over there, and we all just have our interests, and it does make for a really deep, variety of music. That all is connected though. It really the folk bluegrass tradition is. I think represented almost every band, but then you really get to see what's possible when you're a little adventurous with the music. And this festival, from the beginning, if there's one signature of the Telluride Bluegrass Festival is, it's adventurous music, and that we've done all we can to preserve that, and really just create an atmosphere where artists come and they really want to stretch and do something special and something that's a little out of the box, maybe.
And then you guys are also doing a free. I don't want to talk about this. You're doing a bunch of givebacks to the community and those kind of things. You're doing a free concert, aren't you? There's like Billy Strings playing.
Wednesday night, Billy Strings and Little Smokies and Sunset Plaza here in Mountain Village. That should be off the hook.
I'm sure.
Maybe the biggest First Grass show we've ever done. And that's 5 to 8 o'clock on Wednesday. And then the Elks Park. There's performances throughout the festival, Thursday to Sunday. They're all free in Elks Park. And those are unique bands that are only playing there. There's a band from Ireland coming just to play in Elks Park. And some cool collaborations, and as well as the band and troubadour contest. And that's all just for people who are in town and want to wander over to Elks Park.
Is that like that Elks Park stage too? Is that a way for you guys to sort of scout somebody playing live? You know what I mean? Like you like them, but they're not quite at the main stage yet, or what is that? How does that work?
Yeah, there's always a couple invites. People aren't playing the main stage, but then a lot of the artists want to kind of play with each other in unique collaborations, and so they'll call up and. We'll just get calls and say, hey, I want to do something with, Bale and Egger want to do something. Or
Drew Emmett wanted to put together a band with his kids. So Drew Emmett of Leftover Salmon. So he's forming the Emmett family band just to play at Elks Park.
That's
and
great.
Edgar Meyer's playing with his son George, both virtuosos. And
got a couple classical kind of sets that are going to go on, on Friday. It's really really neat.
It's really nice. The town is filled with music, as it is for some of the other festivals too. But I mean, if you're going to pack the town that full of people like listening and things like that, it's nice that it like sort of happens all over the place. Guys, thanks so much for being here with us today, and have a good festival, I guess.
Thanks,
have a good sound check. Yeah?
Yeah, we're nervous.
We're going to do Wichita Linemen.
We got to learn a song.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, you're obviously not working hard enough.
Right.
No. But seriously though, enjoy. I'm sure you're working, but enjoy the festival. Enjoy what you put together for this community. We're really appreciative of it. I would tell you to go online and get tickets, but you can't. So go on the Sweet Deals, Real Deals, check around town. People are probably selling tickets or whatever, but it's a sold out fest.
Well, as Brian said, plenty of chances to get some music this weekend. So
Thanks a lot, guys.
You're welcome.
Cheers, thanks.
Tom.
All right, let's head over to Diva at the bookstore down there in Telluride for Undercover.
Greetings from Between the Covers Bookstore, Telluride's fiercely independent bookshop since 1974. And we are full throttle summer as of right now. And we have a whole bevy of great events this summer. Starting off on Friday, June 29th, we've got Ming and Gary Adams, Rob Schulteis, who will be reporting from the field in his foreign correspondent style, and Craig Childs talking about this book, Spirits of the Stone. You might recognize Ming and Gary from the farmers market. They've been down there for many years. They own Canyon of the Ancients Guest Ranch. And it's a 2,000-acre ranch that on that property there are over 5,000 documented rock art sites, and in McElmo Canyon in general. So Gary, being a photographer, started photographing, and this is one of the best collections of rock art photography that we've seen in a very long time. So at the library, Friday, June 29th at 7 p.m. Coming up for Yoga Festival, we started this last year, Word Flow book signings. That's getting a bunch of the yoga instructors and authors together at the Palm in the lobby from 12 to 4. And we'll have Beryl Birch and Amy Ippoliti, Yogrishi Vishvetu, and a lot more. Last year was really successful, and people really love that one-on-one time with the instructors they've just had a class with. Moving on to a kid's book, and this is really exciting because it is a local author, Leslie Sherlock. She not only wrote it, but she also illustrated it. The book is called The Velvet Ear Gang, Ellie and Homeless, and it's the first in a series, and she is an elementary school librarian, so she has read books to kids 500-600 times and realized she should probably make her own story. And of course, it's a dog book, being Telluride, so we hope to see you here for her book launch party, a social signing, and that is July 23rd at 4:30 right here. So basically a happy hour launch. Earlier in the day, she will be doing a reading at the library. Wisdom Rising. This is so exciting. Lama Tsultrim Alioni will be in the shop on August 2nd during the Art Walk. She'll be signing her book. That's right there. A lot of people know her as the author of Feeding Your Demons, which came out 10 years ago. So people have been waiting for this next book. She is the resident Lama and the founder of Tara Mandala Center in Pagosa Springs. She's also the mom and grandma of some local people here. And she's actually the first American ordained Buddhist nun when she was 21. She's got a lot of knowledge and a lot of interesting things to talk about regarding the mandala and the dakinis and empowering the feminine mystique. Let's see. Oh, wow. River of Lost Souls. That's a book by Jonathan Thompson. You might recognize that name. He's a contributing editor to High Country News. This book is really important to him. He's a sixth generation San Juanzian, if you can say that, growing up in the Durango area. And he's a journalist and an environmental activist. And he had to write this book after the 2015 Animas River disaster with the Gold King mine. So it's part science, part personal story. And I have a quote from Andrew Gulliford, who's a historian and professor at Fort Lewis College in Durango. Thompson combines science, law, metallurgy, water pollution, bar fights, and the occasional murder into one of the best books written about the Southwest in years. So that'll be August 12th at the library, and we're really looking forward to that and possibly putting together a workshop for aspiring journalists with him. Beyond that, in August, it'll be the Telluride Mushroom Festival, where we set up a pop-up shop over at the main venue at the Opera House. I basically lived there for 4 days. And this year's guests are Paul Stamets, Trad Cotter, Eugenia Bone, Katrina Blair, and a whole bunch of others. And we'll have signings there over that 4-day weekend. So basically, something for everyone. And we look forward to seeing you in the shop and enjoying our cafe in the back with the sunny deck. Have a great summer, Telluride.
Thanks a lot, Diva. That was a really great undercover at Between the Covers. We love all of our community organizations that we work with here at Telluride TV. And speaking of community organizations, Telluride TV is a public access channel that depends on public support. And we want to give a shout out to a few of our most generous supporters, the towns of Telluride and Mountain Village, the Telluride Foundation, and the Telluride Ski and Golf Company.
So we've got 2 new series. One is Device Advice with Wilkinson Public Library, which we'll be checking out in just a second. And stay tuned, because afterward is the other new series, Telluride Trails, a collaboration with Telluride Mountain Club, which will be exploring all the hiking and biking trails that Telluride has to offer.
Hi, I'm Gloria.
And I'm Hank.
We are from Wilkinson Public Library, and this is Device Advice. Are you struggling to find even 10 minutes to work out in your day? Well, I got the app just for you, 7Fit. It's free to download with 7-minute high-intensity workout plans for each day. It's amazing!
Do you even lift, bro?
Don't call me bro. The workouts provide the maximum benefit in the shortest of time. Super awesome. What do you got for me, Hank?
Oh, I got something for you. Are you good at doing currency conversions in your head? If you answered yes, then you're a liar. For everybody else, there's an app for that. Check it out. It's called XE Currency. You can track multiple currencies on your phone. It updates throughout the day, so you always have the freshest currency conversion rates.
So what's 51 euros?
So I can just type in 51 euro, and that'll tell me, oh, that's 44 British pounds, or 59 US dollars. For some more cool travel resources, come to Wilkinson Public Library. We have travel books, travel DVDs, travel kits, and if you're trying to stay healthy, what else we got?
Don't forget, we've got free fitness classes, yoga and Zumba, every day. Come check it out at Wilkinson Public Library. And thank you for tuning into Device Advice.
Yeah, thanks.
Hi, I'm Heidi.
And I'm Todd.
And this
is Telluride Trails.
Today we're going to go up on the Via Ferrata. Telluride's Via Ferrata traverses approximately 1.5 miles, and Via Ferrata is Italian for Iron Way.
If you drive and start at the beginning of the route, the entire route will take about 2.5 to 3 hours to traverse. At minimum, it's important that everybody wear a helmet. There's a significant rockfall hazard. Helmet will help mitigate that risk. It's important to have a harness and a load limiting lanyard, something that will disperse the force of a fall onto the cables. Perhaps the most important piece of equipment to have in the Via Ferrata is the right choice of footwear. You want to have good traction because the edge of the cliff band could well be a foot or two off to your side.
We recommend traversing the route from east to west, and when you do it in that manner, you'll start out on a pretty good trail, and you'll walk along for a while, and then you'll reach the first cables on the route, and that's where it's really important to have the right gear. And as you keep traversing from east to west, you start to encounter iron rungs, and it gets a little bit more intricate.
What we're doing now is we're overriding the amygdala. It's that little most ancient part of our reptilian brain that's in charge of fight or flight. And it's freaking out. It's saying, what? So one of the things the amygdala wants us to do is to like grab onto the earth and lean away from scary things. When we lean away from the edge here, we can cause our feet to slide out. So we're always best to stand upright. That's what a hand to the right can kind of keep you upright, keep your weight over your feet, improve your traction.
About 1/2 mile into the route, you encounter the main event, which is really cool. It's a little bit scary, but awesome.
And the main event is about 100 feet long. It's a traverse. As soon as you turn the corner and step out to the first rung, you have about 300 feet of air under your heels. It's super exciting. It's a wild, unnatural place for humans to be. And thanks to the Via Ferrata, we can get up there and have our minds blown.
That's so cool. Yeah, it definitely takes your breath away.
At the end of the route, we descend a 3/4 mile trail that comes down along the Marshall Creek drainage. Now, it's really important to stay on the trail because the land surrounding it is all privately owned.
Todd, thank you so much for taking us on the Via Ferrata. It was an incredible experience, a really unique thing.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come join us, and thanks for all you and the Telluride Mountain Club does for trail sustainability throughout the Telluride region.
Absolutely. Well, I'm Heidi.
And I'm Todd.
And we'll
see you on the trails.
Hi, I'm the Wine Geek Food Freak, Chef Patrick Legans. Today I thought I'd teach you a cool thing that you can do with zucchinis. Super simple, really great for antipasta platters, picnics, all kinds of stuff. So I've cut some zucchinis on the bias. I've got some hot oil. You don't want to overcrowd the pan because it'll drop the temperature of the oil too much. Also, after we take these first run out and we have to do these guys, you're going to want to let that oil heat back up because the temperature is going to drop a lot in this process. Just looking for a little golden color on both sides. You put on a paper towel, or just a towel like I do. Put these guys here just to rest. They look pretty. If you're throwing a big party or anything like that, these are awesome. All right, then we start decorating. The next step is pretty simple. Now we're just going to put some extra virgin olive oil right over the top, some red wine vinegar. You just want to put enough red wine vinegar that you can see it moving on the bottom of the plate. It doesn't need to be swimming in it. And then it's salt. I'm using a crushed sea salt, a little black pepper, and some diced up mint. And there you have it. Zucchini and red wine mint sauce. Until next time, remember, all you need is good ingredients, some care, and a minute of your time, and you can eat like me, Patrick Legans, the Wine Geek Food Freak.
I am happy to welcome John Chorosky here to the studio. John, thanks for joining us. First, tell me a little bit about yourself and how long you've been in Telluride.
I've been here since 1991, so 27 years. Mm-hmm. And been with the fire department, Telluride Fire Protection District, for 18 of those years, 7 as a volunteer and 11 full-time.
How did you get involved in the fire department?
Just an interest in working as a volunteer originally. Started out that way, and I wanted to participate with the crew down in Placerville, where I've lived all this time, and just help out the community.
So as far as the fire protection district goes, what is the range of that? Where all do y'all protect?
So we cover 360, roughly 360 square miles in San Miguel County. We go from just below Norwood Hill, right in that area, up to Lizard Head Pass, and then obviously the end of Telluride and up into the hills behind the end of Telluride. So a large area. Dallas Divide is one of the dividing lines on Highway 62.
Okay. So I know that there have been a lot of wildfires in the region. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on?
Well, as you know, we had a low snowpack year, and so that contributed to drier fuels and a little less green up than normal. And so with the drier fuels, lack of rain, and again that snowpack, the diminished snowpack, we've seen a little more fire activity than we have in the last couple of years. We also had some wet springs over the last few years, and we just didn't get that this year.
Just drier all around.
Drier all around, yeah.
In comparison to what you've seen in the past, how is this stacking up?
We're comparing it to 2012 and 2002, right in that general area. It hasn't hit the same thresholds that we hit in those years, but it's really close. The fires that we saw, like the Durango fire, Missionary Ridge was 77,000 acres. The current 416 fire, which is burning at about the exact same time, is only 34,000 acres.
So that's significantly smaller.
It's a smaller fire. It's half the size. The fuels are drier, but not as dry from what we're seeing in our testing and from the Forest Service and all of our partners. We're not seeing the exact same levels as 2002 just yet.
Okay. And the other one that's close by is the Burrow fire, correct?
That's correct, at 3,400 acres. How
do you all manage bodies and people and protection for these, wildfires that are...
It's a complex system. When we get called out to a fire, we all have different roles in the fire. I'm a task force leader, also an incident commander on fires. And so on the Horse Park fire, I ran a task force on that, and I had hot shots and engines and helicopters and dozers underneath me. I did kind of the same job on the 416 fire.
Okay.
I had up to
tell
3
us
different
what
crews.
the hot shots do and what bulldozers are doing. Or people are like, are they bulldozing my house?
So it's developing a plan. We develop a plan on the way to try and prevent the fire from spreading or stopping the fire from hitting communities. And we utilize all the different tools that we have to do that. So a hotshot crew is a 20-man elite crew of firefighters, and they may go into the brush and cut hand lines or actually cut, similar to dozer lines with chainsaws. They widen out areas and create fire breaks. Dozers are a little more invasive, and we'll use dozer lines where we want to just strip it right down to the natural earth, and we'll use that to create the fire breaks. And then the engines, the fire engines that we have out there, usually support our operations in putting out the fire or supporting our operations when we burn and try and stop the fire with fire. And then they also work on the structure protection side of it too.
Yeah. As far as what's happening right now, what can people do here who are visiting, who are living here, just to make sure that they're preventing wildfires, being safe? And
the biggest thing is awareness. Our forest is a little bit different than the forest in Durango, but it doesn't mean that fires can't happen here. So being aware, if they're smoking, don't throw your butts out into the grass. Be aware of what's going on with your barbecues. Just be aware of your activities. If you're out camping, make sure you put that fire out. Use lots of water to put it out. As it goes for your houses and like preparing, always just have a plan in place. We have brochures that we hand out at the fire district, Ready, Set, Go brochures, and the West Region Wildfire Council also helps people get ready for fires. And so between the West Region Wildfire Council and then our Ready, Set, Go program, those give you ideas on what to pack and what to utilize around your house to get ready for a fire. Things that you can do around your house that help the firefighters when we show up. Simple as putting a garden hose hooked up to your spigot and leaving it out there, turning on your lights when you leave the house if you evacuate.
And I heard to close windows.
Close windows, yeah.
Turn off fans.
And all these things are outlined in the documents that we have at the district. They're also online at Ready, Set, Go, and like I say, the West Region Wildfire Council has a lot of this stuff too.
So I heard that the 4th of July fireworks have been canceled. Was that decision made today?
We made it last night. We had an officers meeting last night. The chiefs all sat down and we talked about it, and we looked at the fuel moistures, and I run fuel moisture testing in our forest.
Okay.
We looked at our fuel moistures and the conditions that they're currently in, and then we looked at the forecast and then worked with our partners, the Forest Service and the Division of Fire Prevention and Control, in speaking with our local fire management officers, looking at our fuel conditions and looking at the forecast. It was determined we just weren't going to do it.
But you will still have the barbecue, right?
We will still have the barbecue. Yep, we still got
Good.
the chicken coming in. That was ordered last night too.
Good. Nice. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for keeping everybody safe out there. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Now let's head over to yoga with Barbara to practice our downward facing dog.
Perfect.
Hello and welcome to this mini yoga series in Telluride, Colorado. My name is Barbara Glansnick, and today we'll be looking at downward facing dog, or Adho Mukha Svanasana, one of the many sort of classic yoga asanas. This mini series is really designed to provide you with some easy stretches that you can do throughout the day, especially when you don't have a lot of time. As always, I really want you to focus on your breath. So we're going to inhale and exhale through the nose only. And also really honor your body and where you are today. So really move with care. All right, let's get cracking. So I want you to come down and lay down on your bellies. Whether you use a yoga mat or not, doesn't really matter. I want you to point the toes. Reach your hand underneath your shoulders. And then curl your toes under, and on an inhale, push up onto all fours. Now, try not to move your arms and legs as you reach your seat back towards your heels. Allow your head to sort of fall, and you gaze in the direction of your legs. Then you probably have to move your feet a little wider. And you can already stay here. I sometimes call this like a mini or puppy dog, because at the end of the day, you have a very similar primary action, which is spinal extension. If you're ready to go further, I want you to really press into your hands and feet, and then on an inhale, slowly, 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 you're gonna extend your legs. Stay here with bent legs for a few breaths. Maybe your hamstring flexibility is not that great at the moment, so for you to extend the legs completely is not an option, which is totally fine. You get the same primary action. If you can extend the legs, great. Spread your sit bones and lengthen throughout the entire spine. You can stay here for 5 to 10 breaths and then come onto your knees. Reach your weight forward and lie down again. Point the toes, reach your arms back, and allow your shoulders to fall forward. You can repeat this motion many, many times and really get reference points in how to do a downward facing dog correctly. All right, thank you so very much for practicing with me today. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.
Thanks, Barbara. That was great. Well,
Almost Live
is almost over.
But never fear, if you missed any part of it, you could see on Telluride cable channel 12. It airs every day, morning, noon, and night. You can also go on our Facebook page, or you can go on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
see you next time.
Later.